Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Aston Villa 2, Everton 1, unfortunately. I am joined by Andrew Gower, star of film, TV, theatre, and now music, which we will talk about later on. You might have seen him in Black Mirror, Carnival Row, Outlander. Big star. Get on IMDb, honestly, you'll be like, big star.
Make my page go up a little bit.
Well, it's gone up now, but just by being on this.
Just by being on it.
You can add this to your IMDb now.
That's actually, that's true. Appearance on Toffee TV.
There you go, you can add that. Yeah, unfortunately, we're talking about another defeat. Villa Park. It's never going to be easy with not having a striker, but
no.
Another one just by the odd goal. Just a really frustrating game, wasn't it?
Really frustrating. And the thing is, to watch us not really play for 80 minutes, come alive at the end, and then it's always that what could have been, isn't it? Again, away from home, I was thinking, oh yeah, maybe, we'll get a result away from home and change stuff from last year, but it was just, a blunted sword going forward, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah. What did you make of that? Because obviously we've gone in with that front three again. There's no way on earth I would have gone with that front three.
No.
But obviously Frank Lampard has looked at what he's got. Obviously Rondon's come back. He's kept him on the bench. He's kept Dele on the bench. What would you have done with that front three? Because to me, it just doesn't work.
If you're gonna play with a front three with no recognised striker, all three of them. This is the problem with all three of them last year. They were all inconsistent. Well, all three of them. McNeil wasn't there last year, but if you put Dele Alli up there, he was inconsistent last year. And I just think those three players just do not hold on to the ball long enough. I don't know what he's asking them to do, whether they're meant to be coming into the middle, collecting the ball. It just, every time Damari Gray was getting on the ball, every time Gordon was getting on the ball, Dwight McNeil went missing as we were talking. He went missing for the game, and you just can't, a lot of teams in the league play with no recognised forward, but Everton, our game is not suited to playing with a forward at the moment, never mind the recognised forward, so it was a bit of a sort of seeing it go from last week into this week. As soon as that lineup came out, I was a bit sceptical.
Yeah, obviously Connor Coady had come in at the back and Mason Holgate. So I wasn't too worried about that part of it. He obviously went with the rest of the team was the same. I thought we started like I thought we were going to start. Just defensively, we were going to be okay, but it still felt like you're just trying to make sure that they don't score. And then as long as they don't score, then that's the tactic. And then what happens when they do score? And I thought all the way up to the goal we'd done fine. Bit of a slow start, and they got a corner really early on. But I thought we'd done okay. And,
disallowed goal.
I mean, the disallowed goal was an interesting one, wasn't it? Because he was just offside, but then Luca Deans basically got hold of one of our players by the shirt, and it's weird, isn't it? It's like you've got VAR, you're watching to see if someone's offside, and the other thing you're not really that bothered about. It's weird.
Yeah. The same with the tackle on Holgate. Exactly the same. You're viewing something on VAR, but they view that one incident. It happened to us dozens of times last year. Dozens of times. You're viewing that one single incident, but you don't look at Holgate being karate kicked in the throat. And I think that's the as you say there, the build up at the beginning of the game. We're very content to pass the ball around a back three. Last year we'd get ourselves in a lot of trouble doing that. Luckily Tarkowski and Coady were a bit better on the ball, but we didn't look like we were going there to, bring the game to Villa. We didn't, which is unfortunate because they were under a lot of pressure going into that game. The fans, whatever was happening in the Villa camp, it sounded a bit contentious.
No, it does. There was obviously they'd lost their first game to Bournemouth, and they'd been to about Mings and Watkins and Gerrard. Maybe and you've got to. I suppose you go in their first home game. You want to put them under a little bit of pressure, and I just thought we made it maybe a little bit too comfortable at times for them, just in terms of us going forward. If you're going to try and upset them, you've got fast, pacey forwards apparently, according to some people.
Yeah.
And but it's hard, isn't it? Because we can't be direct. We can't put a ball over the top. We can't stretch them. And that's what, essentially, when you've got a centre forward, an opposition can do. You know, we've seen that in the last couple of weeks. It only takes one out ball, and you're on the back foot. And we just couldn't do that at any part. Certainly in the first half, there was no time when really there was anyone just trying to hit the channels to get either Gordon or Damari Gray into those areas to try and stretch them.
And it's interesting, just as I was coming in here, we were talking about actually as a technical football team, keeping hold of the ball and having somebody in the middle who can pick a pass, a direct pass to a winger. We just don't have it. We do not have it. I mean, Iwobi, you know, is a better option, but still isn't really familiar with that position. So picking those passes or receiving the ball from midfield, we just do not have a player on the pitch right now who can do that. And I don't think we were using our wing backs enough. Which
they're not.
Because
that's the thing with the wing backs, isn't it? Because the way we're set up, we're almost saying, come on, try and break us down. But that means that the wing backs then go deeper all the time. Make a
Become
five.
a 5.
You've got to be brave, haven't you? I don't think, again, without a centre forward, I don't think you can be brave, because the chances of turning over the ball, which I think led to basically both goals, is going to mean that you're going to be on the back foot, and you've got to be able to stretch. And there was an early example which annoyed me really. I mean, listen, there's been a lot of talk in the last 24 hours about Anthony Gordon. But if one moment sort of summed up Anthony Gordon for me recently, was early on, there was a ball down the right-hand side, and I thought he had Mings, and I thought he had the beating of him, and Mings puts an arm out to stop him, and he goes down holding his face, and it was a foul. But I'm thinking, the referee's looking at you with your hand on your face and thinking, didn't touch your face, mate, so it's not a foul. I thought, if there's anything recently that we've heard a lot from other fans, you know, certainly last year after the Merseyside derby. You know, I even heard Souness was talking about it yesterday when they asked him about it. He was like, goes down too early for me. And thought, if anything can encapsulate him, you had the beating of him, but you start holding your face, like you're not going to get a foul on that.
And it's not going to make referees. You know, that's the stuff they retain, isn't it? It's a boy who cried wolf. We had it last year loads, and you don't want that early on in the year with, you know, especially a young player. He's a young player. He's making his name for Everton right now. This is his second full season really, where people will start remembering him for what he is, and that's the sort of thing you don't want him to be associated with at all. And
he's not. And listen, he's not a centre forward. I think we all know that, and I do think Frank Lampard's put him in a bit of a difficult spot by playing him in a position which he just isn't familiar with. And I did find that a weird decision when it didn't work last week, and then expect it to work the week after in a game where you're not going to have much of the ball really at all, and you are going to need an out ball. I thought that was a strange decision.
And with what, again, Tyrone Mings, if you look at most of our chances in that game came from corners or slightly nervous moments from Mings, specifically Mings. If you'd have stuck Rondon on him for the first 60 minutes, regardless of what we all think of Rondon, if you stick somebody like Rondon on him, pin him on him, and then you've got, you automatically create more space in that hole for the likes of Gray and Dwight McNeil, who, again, we spoke about earlier, just seems to have sort of not really turned up to the beginning of the season right now, you know. But just we didn't seem to have that out ball to a centre forward.
And they I think, you know, they get their goal by doing something similar, you know, getting the ball down the right hand side, just a basic ball, put it into the box. The Coady isn't tracking the runner. I don't think Tarkowski's got out quick enough, and Ings just managed to spins and smash one in. It's a great goal from their point of view. But from our point of view, I think it clearly shows what we're missing. I mean, Ings has always had this habit of scoring against us. He absolutely loves scoring against us. But it just shows a centre forward who's got a little bit of nous, got a little bit of space. And that to me on the day was the difference.
Complete. And that, as you're saying, we're playing a back five for, you know, the majority of the game until the second half. We're automatically coming into a back five. And for Decore to be our number 6, 2 weeks on the bounce, it's proven that we need a number 6 because actually he's a box-to-box midfielder, and 2 weeks on the bounce as a centre midfielder playing a back five, you can't make mistake. You know, it was a mistake. It was. He didn't track his man. His positional play was out, and we conceded the first goal of the game. And a lot of these games now, because we have got a solid back five, they're going to be decided by the 1 or 2 goals max, aren't they?
I think most games are though, aren't they? Most games in the Premier League
Early
are.
on.
I did a preview with a Villa fan before the game. He was asking me for my prediction, and I said it'll be all down to who gets the first goal. If we get the first goal in this game, we'll have something to hang on to. And you look at the back end of last season, very similar. When we got the first goal in games, when we had something really tangible, Man United, Chelsea, I know Leicester equalised, but it was similar. When we had something to hang on to, suddenly we weren't having to chase the game. You've seen a different side. You've seen a more defensive side. The 5 at the back will drop in. But when you've got, you mentioned there, you've got to have players who understand the roles. And I'm hoping that, and we'll touch on Onana more, but maybe Onana, or certainly if we could get Garner over the line. Garner understands how to sit in front of her.
Completely.
Or even track back into the full-back positions to make sure those are filled. Because if you want your wing-backs to play high, it is going to mean that those wide areas are exposed a little bit. I think that's where, Villa have got that first goal. And from then on, we've got to start chasing the game. And I think the disappointing point was for what? They scored in the 30th minute. We didn't really react till very, very late on in the game. We didn't really change much. We got into half-time and, it is what it is. And we come out second half. I thought we were a little bit brighter early on. I think we had a couple of opportunities. We were starting to take a few more risks.
Yeah, Davis, he played all right, I thought. I was a bit nervous when
what did you make of the sub? What did you make of... obviously, Coady had to go off just after they scored, but what did you make of bringing Davis on rather than bringing Onana on?
I mean, when it happens, like a lot of substitutions, you're screaming it. I was screaming at the TV. I was like, why are we bringing Davis on? But I understand it. I understand that, he wants to protect players, and I think a lot of Everton players need protecting because a lot of signings that have come into our club have, you even look at Rondon. If DCL was played more last year, he was that support centre forward, he might not have rocketed in confidence. So I think I understand it. Was I happy with it? No, but I was surprised that his positional play was decent. He made a few decent challenges, and actually he'd been told, and you could tell, to find Mikalenko and Patterson. I thought Patterson, improved in the second half massively. I think he seems decent defensively, but getting forward, he seemed more dangerous. So I frustrated by that sub, but
See, to be honest, when he made the sub, all that kept on coming back to me was when we brought Gabanin on against Crystal Palace. When he made his debut, and I kept on, because Schneiderlin got sent off in that game, obviously, and we brought him on. And I remember Tom Davis was on the bench that day, and this was when people really liked Tom Davis. But I remember thinking, why are we bringing on Gabanin this early when he'd just come back off the African nations? He barely trained for Everton, and then he played the next game, and then he got injured. And I always just thought to myself, why didn't we just bring Tom Davis on that game and let that lad grow, organically get him. So I wasn't actually that bothered with Tom Davis coming on. And actually, I think for the role he was supposed to play, defensively, defensively, is I actually thought it made more sense.
Yeah, you allowed Iwobi to sort of
because if suddenly you've got Onana and you've got Iwobi and you've got 2 players, one of them's supposed to be defensive. I thought at that point, no, it's a bit too early in the game. And I thought Tom did all right. I know people don't like to admit it, but I think Tom did all right in this game. He did get dispossessed a couple of times, but defensively he made some really good tackles.
And was trying the switch of play. Which we need to. We're going to play this system. We need to get those wing backs into the game, or we need to play wide and get them up the pitch, because we're not good in the middle of the park at the moment. As you say, we'll talk about Onana, but we're not good in the middle of the park.
No, and we are looking at that area, so there is that thing of hopefully it'll start to look to change in Onana, and so it will look to change. But I did think Iwobi played well in the game, and I thought in the first half certainly I thought he was our main bit of joy, picking the ball up. breaking the game up. Made some really, really good tackles. And moving forward. He played one absolutely delicious ball to Damari Gray. And I don't know how Damari Gray doesn't just get something on it. Because he's put it over Mings. And all he has to do is get something on towards the goal and we're scoring. I don't know what he's trying to do. He tries to control it. Mings kicks it out. That's probably our best chance other than score.
I just had a flash of Dwight McNeil's only moment in the game as well, with that little pass he had to play through to Damari Gray, who's through on the left. Like, we've had a few of those. Gray had it against Chelsea. We've had a few of those moments where he could have played Gordon in, you know, and you're one-on-one with a goalkeeper. There's been a
underhit or overhit.
There's been, and with three of them up top, and if not one of them's taking the game by the scruff of the neck, you're on.
That's why I thought before the game. I know Alan didn't make the squad because he was injured apparently, but I honestly thought, and maybe he would have, but I thought he would have played Alan, and maybe have played Iwobi in one of those three positions to get him on the ball a bit more, be our creativity, because he started the season really well in centre midfield, and it will be interesting to see what happens to his position once Onana gets into the team, and where does the defensive responsibility come from them? Will we play three, two back and then maybe Iwobi in front? Because at the moment he looks our best player. He looks the most comfortable comfortable on the ball. He's playing cross field passes all over the pitch.
That touch he had, his confidence is high. It's nice to see. It's nice to see somebody who cost a lot of money sort of. I still, as you say, we're talking about what's his position. That's what we're going to be talking about that for a while. It's nice to have a player who can fill in over the park, around the park. It's nice, but it'd be nice to find, he's someone who wants the ball, isn't he? He's someone who needs to be on the ball, and I do think the centre of the pitch suits him. I'm not sure. I think he does need someone around him who can take a little bit of responsibility off him. He's turned. I thought for 2 seasons he was probably Everton's worst ever buy, just pound for pound. But he's certainly with Frank Lampard's arm round him or whatever, he's certainly become a different player. And I don't know. A lot of people are saying, I don't know if not playing for 2 years is like. I think you should expect a little bit more of a player to not do anything for 2 years. But and really that's down to him and that's down to Frank Lampard. So fair play to him. I think the fundamentals of his game, what we bought him for, probably isn't what we've ended up. The outcome of what he's become maybe isn't what we bought him. We thought we were buying a bit of a jinxy sort of, player, but his fundamental of his game is his work rate, isn't it? I've watched the majority of games I watched last year. I couldn't believe how much that guy can run. He can run, and he's a good passer. He's got a good first touch. He can spot a pass. He's creative, and I think, you think a pass like that he made, if that's a Dominic Calvert-Lewin or I don't know, it's in the back of the net. Put it that way, isn't it? It's in the back of the net, a little bit of space. So I like that side of his game. So he's definitely coming on. It's going to be interesting to see how that evolves with other players around him. But he's, that'll certainly come on. But it was disappointing the second half. We're 1-0 down. We're away from home, and you're looking for that little something where that little change. I know. Listen, it looked boiling, and the manager's got decisions to make. He's already had to make a sub through an injury, but you got 5 subs now. You got to be a little bit. I thought you needed to be a little bit braver. He left it a little bit. Of course, he made a couple of changes. Didn't particularly work, but then Rondon came on, but he did make a difference, didn't he? Yeah, he did. As we were saying, then he pinned himself against the centre half. We could go direct, and then you almost go direct to Rondon, and we've got the wingers coming inside to pick up the ball and then find another pass. So it skips out our weakest position at the moment, which I think is, and it has been for a long time, central midfield, where I cannot get over how bad we are at passing the ball. Anyway, so you go direct from Coady, who's got a good ball on him, as Tarkowski, and you find him Rondon, and we can pick up the pieces in the middle and build further up the pitch. So that was, it was nice to see, but I think, it took the other subs to come on maybe to make it. Yeah, I think the other. I think because Rondon come out for Dwight McNeil. You mentioned it before.
he's a weird one, isn't he? It's not that. Listen, I don't know whether he's a good player. He's not a good player. 2 games is it's not a big enough sample size. It's just that he doesn't, in the 2 games, he just hasn't done anything.
No.
Like, literally hasn't done anything.
No.
And it's really hard to know. I understand what the manager's trying to get out of him on the right side. He's trying to get him on his left foot.
Yeah.
But he's so left-footed, it means it becomes so obvious what he's trying to do.
Yeah. A fullback will be told, keep him on his right foot.
Yeah.
Literally, you'll be told that's, Ashley Cole will probably, unless they've got him in training using his right foot, I don't know. But I think you hit the nail on the head before. That signing, getting rid of Richarlison, you want somebody who can come in and play up top and on the wing. But we've gone straight for McNeil, who is a player who Burnley fans will say frustrated them a lot last year because they know he can play, but he's inconsistent. And then chuck him in with Damari Gray and Gordon and Iwobi at times last year, and that's another inconsistent player to sort of turn into a consistent performer, and that's it's difficult.
Yeah, it's a really difficult scenario to come into, isn't it? Not having a centre forward, so not having someone that you can just dink balls into or put over the top. There's very little space in there because Anthony Gordon's dropping off. Gray is in the same naturally in the same space. It doesn't give him that much room. No. And what you want is Patterson to be coming round them all the time. And Patterson played well.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think you can criticise him. But the way we're playing, the way they want them to drop back, I don't think either wing back at the moment is confident enough to say, I'm going to play high all the time.
And when we did, we conceded a goal.
Yeah, exactly, because we don't have the midfield.
Exactly.
So at the moment, it does feel like they know how they want to play, but they don't have the players to play it yet.
It's quite. I think he's almost gone. And this, I think, a lot of us were thinking when Lampard was saying, "I'm going to start putting more of my play into the team." What he's actually done, he's gone, "This is going to be my formation. This is how we're going to." We're not necessarily playing the football that we thought. He's still mixing it up, but he's got the blueprint now, and now we just need the players to match the blueprint, and we don't have them yet.
So
therefore, the wing backs are.
And it's hard, isn't it? Because if you're a young player like Patterson, you want to impress, but you also don't want to leave yourself exposed all the time. And he's sort of Patterson. I don't think is the greatest defender in the world.
No,
he is an offensive player, but he must. When you're playing the game, if you keep seeing someone who's getting into that space behind you, you've got to you're naturally going to start dropping further and further back. Yeah. And we saw that last week, and that was difficult because the players he was up against, the way Chelsea play. But how can you create space for Dwight McNeil if no one's going past him? I'd say that's not. I don't put that on Patterson by any means. No. I understand what we want, but it's dead difficult in the midfield. There's no midfield, and that's what I'm saying about Iwobi before. Ideally, you want him a little bit higher up the pitch. And don't get me wrong, Iwobi was dropping in. But you can't have a centre midfield who's going to do absolutely everything. No. You just can't, the way we play.
And the best Everton teams I've watched over the years, when you watch, and the best teams in the Premier League, look at wing backs or full backs advancing. That all comes from having a centre midfielder who you're confident that the majority of the time they'll be able to fill those holes. And we smell of a team, we look like a team that just don't have any confidence of going forward, and it's not until we go a goal behind that we start going, okay, we'll take a few more risks.
Yeah, I was just thinking then, you look at the best teams who play with the 3 at the back, and I mean the best one for the last maybe 2 or 3 years, it might be Chelsea. And but they've got someone like Kanté in the middle of the pitch who's going to fill all those roles, and I think until we get. And I think this is where Garner is huge. Until we get someone like Garner, it's going to be very difficult for us to push. But obviously, Dwight McNeil went off, Rondon come up. And again, for the first maybe 5-10 minutes or 15 minutes, Rondon was doing all right, but again, couldn't really get him in the game. But on the 81st minute, we brought Onana and we brought Dele Alli on.
What was that, the 81st?
81st minute. Which in real terms now is probably like the 70th minute.
That's true.
With how much time they had on now.
That's true. With the drinks breaks.
With the drinks breaks and everything. Yeah. Onana's first contribution was obviously losing the ball in the middle of the park And obviously they've gone on and I mean, he still had a hell of a long way to get the goal, and our centre back should be doing a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
But it just so deflating seeing that happen.
Yeah.
Number one to a player you've just signed, but in a game that Villa didn't really do anything. I'm not at all impressed by what they're trying to do.
No.
But to see them score when you've brought on Dele Alli, you've got Onana on the pitch, you've got Rondon on the pitch, you've still got Gordon on the pitch, you know, it's just tough.
Yeah. Again, it was a midfield player. Again, you know, I love that confidence when you've got a player of Idrissa Gana Gueye covering you if you make that mistake. But that, I mean, to do that in an Everton team where you don't have the cover, I think a lot of work to still score the goal. But I think breaking the lines as a centre midfielder, we want to see that. But it was, my heart sunk when that happened, because it's not only a second goal, but it's your brand new signing who you expect a lot from and want to succeed. The main thing.
Well, luckily, straight from the kick-off, you know, he gets hold of the ball, he takes responsibility for what he's just done, and hopefully this shows you what kind of, not only the kind of player he is, but what kind of character he is. Picks the ball up, gets into the box, chops, comes back, puts it across, and the ball ends in the back of the net. And I think that one moment will give a lot of people optimism for what kind of player he is. His head didn't go down. He knows he's made a mistake, but he's done it in the right area of the park. You know what he did in the middle of the park. That ain't happening around the box. No one's going to attempt a tackle like that around the box, or certainly in the box. And I think if he knows that in the Premier League, he'll have lots of joy. No one will touch you. I mean, Luca Dean's our top goal scorer, which is amazing. Which is amazing. But you see that's what that goal went in the 5th, 7th minute or whatever. There's still 10 minutes to go easily. Their players are dropping like flies, you know. I mean,
he's
centre back
for a while.
Done,
I know, yeah, God.
He's got a really bad injury.
They'll be in for Michael Keane.
Again, you know, you want it, Stevie. But the chances we made from then on.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking before when we did our live, we were saying, got beat 2-1, but we could have been sitting here going 2-2 and we're all happy today because the amount of Anthony Gordon went back on the left, he had to cut one in, obviously it's come out to Rondon, and obviously someone said to me, you know, if only Rondon had been quicker. I was like, what, is that just a general life thing? Of course, if only Rondon had only been quicker. You say that. It reminded me of the one against Palace last season when we got beat 3-1, and at 2-1, exact same thing. Gordon got 3 on the right. Yeah. Bit of a tame shot, and it comes, and Rondon is like slow motion. Honestly, still getting there.
That's his area. That's his area. That's where he should be. Don't move any. We you know. Yeah.
It was like going back to me when I was a kid watching the $6 Million Man. That's what he's like. Yeah. Trying to score the goal. That one doesn't go in. Onana then has another one where he slides in, and I think he gets it a little bit wrong. We end up getting a corner.
I was quite happy with our corners throughout that, but towards the end, those corners became last season corners. Yeah. You know, considering we had a team right against it, centre halves of just how many of them went off. I can't remember how many subs came on towards the end, but Chambers was on, and you know, and to those deliveries just at the end.
Well, they made 5, and 3 of them came on in the 90th minute. Yeah. We obviously brought Onana on for Coady and Dele Alli for Damari Gueye, so we made 4. The corners, though, what I would say, we had 8 corners. They were all good corners, apart from the ones towards the end, which were the last 2.
Tame,
the Anthony Gordon one, where he if a keeper ever catches 2. I was watching Spurs yesterday, and I was watching the 2 corners at the end. What, you know, you scored off one of them, and the quality of the delivery was unbelievable. Just low and hard, and all it was going to take was a touch.
With this team right now, we cannot afford with the height in this team. You add Onana, because I think simply with Onana, you look at the size of him, and if you can play him in a more advanced role, similar to you know our beloved Belgium back in the day, if you play him higher up the pitch, regardless of his technical ability, he's going to cause problems. And I think that Everton need to really go for that this year, like set pieces. You know,
if you've got Coady, you've got Tarkowski as well.
It's ridiculous.
There's a lot of, and that's what I was actually annoyed by the set pieces. Because there was 2 or 3 that just flashed around the box, and then they came out and someone smashed them.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, oh, if we'd only... The two at the end were just... they
abysmal.
were terrible.
Straight to Martinez,
abysmal, absolutely abysmal.
Yeah.
I know tired legs, but it was so frustrating. I know there is that air of, like, you come off the pitch going, oh, we've given it a right go, but it's only for the last 15 minutes, and there is a case of, what if we brought people on? But I did think, certainly when Rondon, when he had Onana on the pitch in Delhi, Rondon, suddenly you saw what can happen when you've got a number 9. Totally. Just going long or going diagonal, having someone who can pin centre-backs, but knowing that there's other people around as well they couldn't put all their eggs in one basket and go, we're going to just block Rondon. There's Onana, there's Delhi making a nuisance, and it suddenly just opened the pitch up. And there are positives that you do come away and you know, Onana. Yeah. Let's just look at Onana's numbers a moment. So there you go. Minutes played 9, touches 9, pass accuracy 67%, successful dribbles 1 out of 2. One led to their goal, one led to our goal. Jules won 1 out of 3, but he definitely looks like a player, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's the confidence coming into an Everton team, isn't it? And to see somebody come in and almost like he's not really experienced everything that's been happening last year. It's the first signing I've seen for a while come on the pitch and really excite me. Sort of, as you say, the biggest thing is the character. Character. He seems like a winner, a leader. He's young. Just his mere height and presence seems to excite me. I think that was the nice end to the game that you say, the positive we take from it. And with the sort of shape of the squad at the moment, you can't not see him starting next
definitely
weekend.
I think he'll start. And after watched this the behind the scenes video Everton done of him, and he just looks like a really confident. I don't know where the accents actually come from. I don't really know where that...
MTV.
MTV. Yeah. It's like my nephew speaks with an American accent because he watches all YouTube. Yeah. I just thought something similar, but he looks a very, very confident young man who believes in his own ability. And it was brilliant to see that level of confidence and the character, as I said, when he scored. It was massively disappointing to see him lose the ball and score, but he bounced back immediately. So we have got that, and if the core, I don't know how bad the Coady is. It doesn't seem like it's that bad. But even it doesn't really matter, does it? Because if you've brought a player like that, I mean, Frank Lampard after the game said that he hadn't trained much and didn't really want to bring him on. But I do think that was a very positive little cameo to excite the fans. And
he's made the first mistake. You know, he's made his mistake.
You're full Everton now. You've made your mistake.
You've made your mistake, yeah.
But what did you think of the other debutant? Because Conor Coady obviously came straight into the team. I mean, in true Everton fashion, he went off, and I don't think there's any issues, but he went down. He got hit with the ball, but then he went down holding his leg, and you're just like, this is a lad who doesn't miss games of football, and suddenly he asked...
It was again like the Everton curse. A centre half has joined Everton on loan, option to buy, but on loan, and he's gone down. And as you say, he's missed like two games
something like that
in his career for Wolves, whatever. But yeah, that as soon as that happened, I was like, well, obviously, you know, he's been getting dressed for Yerry Mina gets changed. He's taken over Mina's locker. Whatever's in Mina's locker is injuring centre halves. Yeah.
Let's have a look at Conor Coady's numbers. So pass accuracy 85%, long ball 7 out of 11, clearances 4, duels 2 out of 3, and tackles 1. And I thought it was a very solid performance. I think very much like Tarkowski last week. He came straight into the team, and you'd never have known it was his debut. No. He just felt like he slotted straight in there. And I think with him and Tarkowski and to be fair, I thought Holgate had quite a good game. Yeah, and really, like we said before, he should have had a penalty. Yeah. Definitely should have had a penalty. I thought anyway. Yeah. But no, he slotted straight in there, and I think the manager, Frank Lampard, said he took him off because he did get a bit of a whack when the ball hit him rather than anything, hopefully anything with his calf. He does strike me as the type of player who'll play through injuries anyway. You don't play as many games as he has without playing through strapped up and all the rest of it. But he looks certainly with the news that Yeremy is going to be out for 8 weeks. I mean, why wouldn't he be out for 8 weeks? It looks like a good, astute bit of business, and I thought him and the rest of him and the other two looked fine in a back three. I know there's been a lot of talk by people saying, why are we playing this formation? But if you've brought him in and you've got Tarkowski, I don't really see what other formation he's going to play.
No, it's exactly what we were saying before. I think Frank set out that's his blueprint. That's the way he wants to play, with the 3 centre halves. Obviously, right now the team we're watching, we're not seeing the best version of that, because some of the players we don't have to fill the middle of that team. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing with a centre forward in the team. With a centre forward in the team, with a bit more of a midfield, if you've got those 2 centre halves, because I noticed a few of those passes. He started out as a centre midfielder, didn't he? He's got a pass in him, and I'm excited that we can hopefully mix it up with that and actually have, somebody who knows where they want to send the ball and can put a few balls to either wing back and to a centre forward and actually find them.
Yeah, I do think. See, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because we've lost the first 2 games.
Yeah.
But I think there is that optimism of who we're looking at, what we're trying to bring in and what we have brought in. And if it's done right in the next couple of weeks, we will have a decent looking team. And at the moment, this isn't the team.
No. I just think that game, that away game, more than the Chelsea game, if we'd have got a point out of that game, because we didn't do that enough last year, we didn't go away from home, because that had a draw written over the heat. The 2 teams quite nervous, still finding the formations, still picking the best team. If we'd have drawn that game, we'd have gone into the Forest game a bit not bouncing, but with more confidence. Now, again, like last year, we've got a home game with so much sort of pin to it.
It is weird, isn't it? It's a weird one. This time last year, we had 4 points, and we were going on to Brighton, where we picked up another 3 points, where we had 7. But it's weird, isn't it? Because that was a. We came back and we got beat by. We beat Burnley, and then I think we played Villa and we got beat. But it's weird, isn't it? Because I think there's an optimism that with the window open, there's players to come in, Onana to come into the side. There's an optimism that actually this is a bit more of a false start. Whereas last season, we had a really good start, but that was a false start as well, because it was almost like we're sound. We shut the window now. We've got what we need, and then Dom gets injured, and all the players get injured, and what you find is all that optimism that you started with was all false. And what the manager wanted to do was built on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. This season, I know a lot of it will be built on what Dominic Calvert-Lewin is, but there is time to reshape the team in the next couple of weeks, get a striker in, get another midfielder in, and then we move forward. It's a weird paradox, isn't it? What would you rather have, the points or the optimism? But then we see what happened last season, where you don't get what you need, and you end up having a terrible season.
And it's interesting that last year we conceded early we conceded against like Burnley and Southampton, but then had this weird sort of resilience. Same against United with Townsend scoring. We had this resilience about us that was like, oh my God, Everton. How often did you see Everton come back?
Like Benitez is a genius.
He's a genius. He's an absolute genius. But we had that, like everybody was saying, to the team, where do you get this resilience when you go a goal down and you can score, come back into games? And I think actually, as you say, that was false, and it was built on a team that, was bare bones. And actually now we know from last year and this year, we know exactly what we're dealing with. We know where we need to add. We know what sort of formation we want to play, how Frank wants to play. So that's where we can, as you say, find some sort of pointless optimism.
A lot of it. You've got to have optimism, haven't you? In there, because I think the Onana signing has given people optimism that Kevin Felwell and Frank Lampard know what they want and can get what they want.
That's the player.
And I think I've seen this yesterday. A lot of it to do with the Anthony Gordon situation. People, why are people? I think a few weeks ago, people were really flapping about Anthony Gordon maybe leaving, and then now it's more like, well, if he leaves, he leaves. It's a lot of people maybe have gone 50 million. We'll do wonders with, whether we do or not. But I think that Onana sign has so much just got a little people just to the point where like, these people seem to know what they're doing. This is very un-Everton.
Yeah, and I go back to what you guys were saying last year, looking at Everton. Unfortunately, we're all emotional fans. We saw that last year. I cried more times last year than I think I've ever cried watching Everton, for good and for bad reasons. But I think what you guys were saying on a regular basis is looking at Everton as more of a business is sensible. I mean, ideally we'd want to keep Gordon. Of course, everybody's there. But I think, as you say, if we've got the trust in Thelwell and Frank, what you can reinvest in and what you can buy out there and the gaps you can fill in this team. I didn't think I'd be turning around saying I want to sell Anthony Gordon, and I'm still not going to say it, but I think there's sensible transfers. And there's business transfers, and there's like teams like Brentford have done over the years, selling players at their peak or not even before their peak, a false peak. And I think it's clever sometimes to go, that's our price for a player, which we hated as Everton fans for years. We hated it for years. But football, unfortunately and fortunately, maybe for some people, has moved towards of a business-run football team.
Well, you have to. I mean, you should never take the emotion out of football.
No.
But I think what's happened is we're all a little bit more savvy now to the situation because it gets played out so much in the open now. And I think what we found is, and I was talking earlier on to Ned about this, is like, I understand because he's young and a lot of people have the same opinion. It's like the message of selling someone like Anthony Gordon to improve your team, or selling anyone to improve your team. It's like, well, did Lille feel that way when they sold Onana, or they go, that is an amazing deal, and see that pot of money, we'll just go back and buy the next Onana for £5 million.
Exactly.
And then, and I know that's not what people want, but unfortunately, when you've got football clubs who've got as much money as City and all the rest of it,
right now,
but also are very, very savvy now. City don't buy players for over the valuation of they just move on to the next one because they've got so much power they can do that. And that's what we're not even working against those teams. You just spot on. We're working against people like Brighton.
Completely.
Who sell players for 30 million, then who've already brought their replacements in the year before for £5 million, and they're ready to come in when they've sold them. That's whether people all like it or not, that's the market we've got to be in, and that's football nowadays. It's hot. It's not very nice.
And if you'd have asked me, if Chelsea had come in with 50 million for Gordon before Richarlison was sold, I mean, I know rumour is Richarlison had already said that he's leaving and that's all done, but if that wasn't the case, and you could choose to keep hold of one or the other, I know who I'd choose. It'd be Richarlison all day. Exactly. Of course it would. So it's that's how it is. It's Everton have to be a better run football club.
Exactly.
That's the all I'm asking for really this year. That's the least I'm asking for. Gordon comes.
Just buy centre forward. Whatever it takes. Let's just look at the match stats from the game. There we have it. I mean, 15 shots there, 12, 4 on each. More corners for Everton. I know that's not on there. I know they had more possession, but I have no issue with that. But they had 3 big chances. We only had 1. Disappointing. A disappointing defeat. There you go. We move on. Forest at home now is a big game.
Massive.
But before we finish, Andrew is here. As I said before, start of Screen and TV, and a very, 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 very dark episode of Black Mirror. I won't ruin it, but you ended up in a bag. That's all I'm going to say. But you're moving on to music.
Yeah, well, including music.
Yeah,
moving on.
No, but you're not moving on. You've still got lots and lots of...
Moving on. On the side. Bit of
you've got your new...
Yeah. The Jacaranda.
The Jacaranda. It's an EP.
Yeah.
But what's the name of the band?
So it's Gustafsson, which we were just talking. So basically my Swedish grandmother's maiden name before she moved to Liverpool and took over Gower. And yeah, we've that EP's out on Friday.
Produced by Elbow.
Produced by Elbow, Craig Potter from Elbow. 4-track EP, and yeah, we're down at the Jack on Saturday. I've invited Toffee TV always because
you've even invited Ned to come and play.
I mean, and Ned,
and he's turned you down.
Ned has turned me down. I praised Ned
he's
about
probably playing in Wigan or somewhere, and he's turned you down.
You know what? You know, I can't offer more than I've brought the CD.
Terrible.
I need to get him some beef jerky to get him on board.
So you're playing in the Jack?
In the Jack on Saturday. On Saturday 20th, and the day before is the release. You can get all that on the iTunes and
physical music.
Physical.
What's all that about?
Physical. Yeah, I'll send the vinyl's out in November. So we've already chatted about the vinyl.
What kind of music is it?
Oh, music, I mean, I'm terrible at trying to describe music, but it's alternative rock. It's very, I mean, it's been produced by Elbow. It was recorded at their studios, so has that sort of grand feel. We had a 50-piece choir in. My uncle's choir came in and did a bit on one track, but songs about Liverpool,
brilliant,
which is great. And yeah, have a listen. And if
let me ask you a question.
Go on,
right?
Go on.
So you've worked with Cara Delevingne. Right?
Yeah.
Are you a gamer? Do you ever play Grand Theft Auto?
Grand Theft Auto.
Did you ask her about her being in Grand Theft Auto?
I didn't.
Are you aware that she's in Grand?
No, but we've got the premiere next year, so I'm going to make sure.
She is one of the radio DJs.
What?
She's the English DJ in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Why didn't I ask her that? There we go.
I just wanted to throw that. Just wanted to give you that
knowledge
bomb. Even though she's like a world famous actress, model. And she was in Suicide Squad, and she's an amazing model, and she's in so many good things. She was in Carnival Row with you. It's the one thing that I like. If I'd have a conversation with her, right? I know she's like Taylor Swift's best mate, right? But I'd be all over. Grand Theft Auto 5.
You'd be straight.
What was that like being in the radio?
See, that's blown my mind. No, that's a wasted question from me to have the answer.
But now you can ask her that,
though. Yeah, I can. And then that's a reason for me to come back, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but that links music.
There we go.
See, you could say, are you in Grand Theft Auto 6? Any chance of getting my music on the show? Because, like, a lot of music I like is based on... Well, not what I like.
No, it's true,
But there's a lot of songs that I've discovered from, like...
footy games and
footy games, but what gets played in the radio on Grand Theft Auto 5? Because you just like I've literally drove around LA in my own car. Well, not my own car, the car I'd hit.
Yeah.
But playing music from Grand Theft Auto 5 whilst being in a car in LA in real life.
That sounds like something that everybody needs to do.
Exactly. So I need you now to get Cara Delevingne to produce my own
own playlist as the radio
host. Hi everybody,
host.
it's me from there you go.
Brilliant. that has taken a turn in the best way.
There you go.
The best way. Brilliant.
Excellent. So you've got any other TV stuff coming up that you can talk about?
I can talk. One, I can't talk. I'm on something at the moment which will be announced shortly. I'm pretty sure another series, but earlier this year I was filming You for Netflix, which is in its 4th season. So I'm in that, and then Carnival Row, as we spoke about, with Grand Theft Auto's own Cara Delevingne, which blew my mind. That's out early next year. So that's 10 episodes, and brilliant. I come back. I can say I come back in that. Which is great. But we just filmed our music video as well, which is the second time I've produced something with Sue Johnson, Freedom of the City, Sue Johnson, Royal Family. So she's in our music video.
Excellent.
That'll land this week.
She's a red.
I know she's a red. We gave her a blue. I'll probably get told off by our producers for this, but we gave her a blue trolley in the thing, and I told her halfway through that it's got Everton written on the back, and she freaked out.
But you also told me as well that and I applaud this. Any other Evertonians that you bump into from now on, you are going to try and get them on Toffee TV.
Yeah, we need.
So Ian Hart, who's in Harry Potter. If anyone knows the first Harry Potter film, Ian Hart. And he's
biggest blue.
He's a big blue, and apparently he watches Toffee TV. Yeah. So you're going to try and get him on the show. So you've got anyone you come into contact with now. That's your.
This is my calling, isn't it?
Modus.
If I wasn't just doing music and acting, And the dishes, I'm now doing
why not?
Toffee TV Scout.
There you go. Well, I mean, let's be honest. You didn't come to Liverpool to launch your EP.
No.
To not come to Toffee TV, did you?
I came in to be rejected by Ned. That's why I came here today. I was already had a bit of a weak ego this morning, but Ned has literally sent me sideways. Honestly,
my God,
I'm completely done.
That's the way. That's like the lowest of the low.
I'm gonna have to get like a bigger venue to try and persuade him to.
Yeah.
I don't get out of bed for more.
Well, he's told you that he bought a new car.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
He's going to need that. He's going to need.
I should have offered the car, shouldn't I?
Oh my God!
I should have offered the car, and he'd have done the gig. Yeah.
There you go. Right, we're going to continue this on over on Toffee TV Premier. If you want to be a member, you know how to do it. Scan the QR code, and the link is in the description. Big thanks to Andrew for coming in. We're carrying on. This chat's amazing. Right, there you go. Thanks for watching. See you later.
Cheers, guys.